Good morning, everyone. It's September the 4th, 2023. I hope everyone is enjoying the surprise summer weather that we're getting here. I know I am. I'm out and about with it. But today I wanted to talk a little bit more about my last video and the dogs and the ones that the police are getting and all the different service type of dogs that are being together. People are really looking at this very seriously down the States, is what I'm trying to say. And I couldn't agree more with them right across the board. They're wonderful. But I know that I think one of the big questions that I've always asked is, we see all these big drug busts. The police present us with tables full of all these drugs that they pick up and the tons of money that it looks like it's laid out on the table. Not to mention the guns that they take off the street, which is great. At least that's one less gun we have to worry about, or two or three, or sometimes it's up to 18. Who knows how many guns are taken off the street. It doesn't help the fact that they're still being poured onto their streets at the same time. But every gun taken off the street, for an example, or every drug bust, that means less drugs on the street. And that's what I look at as for a way of prevention. In fewer people getting drugs, or getting the drugs, possibly few of our young people even getting into drugs, the more that are taken off the street. And that also leads me into something that was done a few years ago, that the government's decided, well, why should all these criminals profit and have all these, what do they do with all these proceeds of crimes after they seize everything? And so they don't get them back. They don't get their beautiful cars back or their expensive houses back or everything, the guns, everything that they have collected to put these drugs and that out onto the street. And so that left me with this question. Where does all this money go for? Or, what does the government do with all this money? And I'm thinking, well, not only do we need enforcement to keep the drugs and stuff off the street, but as a way of prevention, as I just had said, preventing young people from getting into the drugs, possibly in the first place, actually saving lives. I'm thinking, well, with what I'm seeing from the States and everything, why can we not take these proceeds and put them into something, say, drug addiction programs, setting them up, or like what they've got in the Hope Center down there for the girls and women who are being trafficked out there by these predators, and set up what they've got, because they spend 15 months in this facility and learning all the basic skills of life and what they need to know before they get out, and they do eventually get an apartment. Now, I'm not saying this is going to be the one that's going to solve the affordable housing for sure, or the support housing, but with the proceeds. But it's one way that I just feel that this would be a great way of using the money, because when I look at the police departments and that, they have the problem of, like today with the pandemic and even before, we were struggling a bit trying to get money. Never enough money for this or that or the other thing. And this is where I'm seeing that it could, because for years, I've been watching this for now, and it goes back a number of years on the YouTube channel, where how they struggled to get the dogs on the police departments in the first place. And they had to rely on everything from donations from people, and sometimes the people that breed the dogs would donate a dog to them, and then they had to pay for the training for the dog, which meant was different types of training, as I've pointed out. And so this is where I'm thinking that why can we not take the money from these proceeds? Because they're putting the crime on our streets. Why not take the money that they're using to do the crime and put it into something worthwhile to help the victims out here at the same time? Because we're all victims right across the board, and it doesn't matter if you're using the drugs or not. When it spills out on the streets and you're in your little community, it certainly affects the whole community and everyone right around. So this is one of the things I was thinking about today, was what do we do? And where do we come up with the money for that? But I've seen children go out and have say a lemonade stand or do something, and I saw one young person an entrepreneur there. He went out and he raised $1,200. That was American, mind you. And he went out and bought one of these bulletproof and stab-proof vests for the dogs. So that was a big ceremony right there for what this young lad did. And I'm thinking there's so many different ways we could fundraise. People are donating, corporate donations are coming in as well for them to help them on the side. So it doesn't always fall on the taxpayers here either, in a sense that everything's hitting us where we really need the taxpayers' money for the affordable housing and the support housing at the moment. So this is what I was thinking about this morning, and what happens to these dogs after retirement. They usually go to the handler, and they're usually bought when they're too old to work anymore. So they get to live with the handler and his family and his children, and they get to live the life of Riley, which is really great to see, because after all that hard work, they get rewarded in their own retirement from it. But there's a lot of things that I can talk about, and I will always praise the dogs on this. But I like to just give a short video again that there are ways of funding this, and I can tell you so many funny stories, but I think maybe I'll try to give you one funny story, because these handlers and these police officers who have the canine officers, because they're fully integrated. They have their own badge with the police department. They have their own memorial services, which are just beautiful when something does happen to the dog. But they live with their families, so they get to have them 24/7 around the clock. So they become very bonded to the dog, and that's understandable, because I'm very bonded to my service dog Heidi. And to show you just how bonded we get, whether got a police dog or a service dog like Heidi. I had kind of a funny but embarrassing incident one day, and I was at the street corner. I normally take Heidi with me, but this day I had to go without her. So I was training her. She was quite young, and I was trying to teach her to heel at the time. So we were into that, so I got up to the corner, and there was a bunch of people standing at the corner. There was this gentleman beside me, and we were waiting for the light. And without thinking twice, I just blurted out, thinking that I had Heidi at my side. I blurted out, "Let's go, heel," in a direct command for her to heel with me. Because the "let's go" was because as a puppy, she had this another little quirk where she'd get into the middle of the street or the intersection, "Oh, playtime!" and she'd get me all tangled up in the leash. So that was her signal, "Let's go." And then the heel was like, "We got to get across to the corner. No playing in between." So here I shouted out this command, and of course the gentleman standing beside me just looked at me like, "Are you nuts, lady?" And this, or I'm probably turning red and all colors, and everybody's looking at me and wondering, "What are you talking about?" And I'm trying to explain, "No, I'm sorry, I was talking to my dog." And of course everybody's looking, and what dog? Your invisible dog? There's no dog standing at your side. And of course I had to explain a little bit more. And it was a really kind of an embarrassing moment that I didn't have my dog with me, but it was just an automatic reaction that I had. And so then, thankfully, I had my bus pass on me, because here you're required to have another sort of a pass for the dog, stating that you're with a picture of the dog and you requiring a service dog for the buses. So I pulled that out, and everybody started to laugh. And the funny thing that came out of it was that the gentleman turned around to me and said, "You know, lady, you could have asked me just to come with you. But my goodness, that has got to be one of the best pickup calls I've ever seen. Just no problem. You want to pick me up, fine, but you don't have to demand it. I would have gladly gone with you." So it was just kind of a funny and embarrassing moment that happened to me. But I just wanted to explain just how much these dogs do for us, and how much that they're missed when the handler, something happens to their dog, and they have to retire the dog even in death, and they have to replace the dog. It's hard on all of us, because they are a member of the family, they're a member of the community. And so this is why we should have a friendly city, a friendly environment in all cities for our animals and for all these animals, because they're worth their weight in gold with what they do. And I guess I have one more incident that I can explain this, that with seeing all the all the videos that I get online on them. They had one that was a body cam from the police body cam, picked up one to show just how valuable they are. And they knew this little girl. She was 8 years old. She was being held by this guy, definitely a predator. And so they came in. They broke the door down. The dog went in first, surrendered right away, didn't want to get involved with the dog. They plucked this little 8-year-old girl out from pornography and what goes on, those rings and that. And because the dog was a detection dog for all the hardware and the equipment and the electronics that we have today, he actually helped solve the case right there, and he was convicted and definitely put away in jail. So before you knock everything down, please think about how we can help in a beautiful way for our animals and that can help us. They are our allies. They're not our enemies, but they're our allies. And I really believe that this is the way we have to go forward into the future. And before this video gets too long again, I shall talk to you soon, and take care and have a nice day, and definitely enjoy this beautiful weather we're having. And take care. Bye-bye.